Y'all, it is Taylor Bridges here. Okay, I am back with another review. This is actually my first review of Belle Collective. Belle Collective has been on for about a month now, and I've been watching it, taking notes. I have not had the chance to come and record. Work has been kicking my natural black behind. Okay, it has been a whirlwind. I have had no time at all, and I've hated it. I felt so bad week after week. I haven't been able to record. I've literally 24 hours in a day. It's just not enough time. And I've just been needing just the time to focus and kind of decrease my overwhelmment with work. But I'm in a good space. I've been relaxing all day. It's Saturday, so I'm feeling good. This is Belle Collective Season 3, Episode 1, Zaddy in the Middle. This episode, my review, this episode that I'm giving for you all will have episodes 1 and 2 in it, and I'll do the timestamp for when the review of episode 1 ends. We start the episode with Latrice and Zaddy. One of Cliff's children is back in Mississippi, and they're having their children over. So Cliff's grandchildren are around more. Cliff says without their kids that marriage is a hoax. And I wish that Latrice would hear Cliff when he speaks, because that's really rude and mean to say to somebody that you took a vow with. What if Latrice literally couldn't have children? Then what? Are you going to harass her about it for the duration of the marriage? And it's not like Cliff doesn't already have children. So to me, that's what makes it extra messed up for him to say something like that. But also, Latrice and Cliff should have gotten clear on this before marriage, because this is actually a very ridiculous storyline to carry out for now 3 seasons. I'm over it. Latrice's employee and friend, Joshie, is staying at Latrice and Cliff's because there's a water crisis in Mississippi that makes the water unsafe and unclean to consume. Joshie comes in the kitchen and starts immediately challenging Cliff. And to me, Joshie had a whole lot to say for someone that's living under somebody else's roof. I wouldn't tolerate my man's friend living under our roof for free because his circumstances are dire, and then he could come in and chime in on me and my man's combos, give his opinion, and tell me about myself, not under my roof. That doesn't make any sense. And I'm not saying that Joshie can't have an opinion while under Cliff and Latrice's roof, but the back and forth is unnecessary and is clearly unwelcomed. You're Latrice's friend. Speak to Latrice about your concerns. Boundaries are going to be real important for this here to work. I think Josh was wrong in the little back and forth. I think it's disrespectful. Now, when Cliff comes to your house, Josh, you can call out whoever and whatever you choose. That's how I feel. Even though we're 4 weeks past that first episode that aired a month ago, I still feel this way. Latrice, about that specific back and forth specifically. Latrice and Cliff are staying in different rooms right now because they're not seeing eye to eye at this time. Clearly something is up with the marriage, right? But every time anyone points out anything about Cliff, Latrice defends him and pretends like it's not an issue, when we literally see her affected. And it's clearly an issue. You won't admit your husband is controlling, but you can't even hang out with your friends without him there. Then stay in your happy marriage then, Latrice. Stay there then. You can't help someone that doesn't want to be helped. She's so afraid of making Cliff look bad, she's defending pure foolery. And there's just no way around it. Cliff is crazy and he's controlling. And he's intimidated by this beautiful, young, successful, bossed up chick that he has as a wife. He's tied her down. He's trying to get her pregnant. And he's going to keep his foot on her neck to ensure she doesn't ever outgrow him. Because the minute she comes to her senses, she's going to be out the door. But she likes living in delusion. So he has her right where he wants her. And that's really sad to me. She's going to fake the funk herself to death. And to me, that's just no way to live. She admits to Josh that she's not happy. And I think Latrice should be grateful to have a friend like Josh who sees through the big house, zaddy, the businesses, all this luxury, and actually cares about Latrice as a person and how she's feeling and handling her marriage, because she sure doesn't have a voice or say so in her actual marriage. Josh is too smart. So Cliff certainly is not going to like him as a friend for Latrice. Letitia is still doing her brunches and stuff. Cool. Her and Glenn are on the rocks again, child. Glenn is so thirsty, it's pathetic. Responding to measly DMs still. Glenn is such a creep. Grow up. All of these men on this show are a creep. Maybe it's except for Akeisha's husband. They're meeting up. Glenn and Letitia are meeting up to do their exchange of the child. I think it's Lil Josh, right? Since they're supposedly separated. Glenn, you're really pathetic, lacking over some DMs. You're going to ruin your family over some DMs. You're out of your mind. Glenn says Letitia is playing double dutch in and out of the relationship, and I believe that. The moment they share intimacy, like have sex, Glenn probably assumes that they're back together, they're back on track. They're back to being normal, you know, when Letitia is probably moving off of emotion and lust, right? So when she wants intimacy, she probably, she goes to her husband, the man who knows her best, the man she trusts with her body. But the minute she's mad again, she probably creates distance, brings up the past, and all of that. You know how us women do. We've all been there, right? Letitia probably wants him so badly and for their marriage to be back to normal, but she's trying to prove a point by keeping him at a distance, or else he won't learn. Letitia, you have to make up your mind, because it's not looking like you even know how to resist Glenn healthily. It seems like you're just putting yourself through unnecessary trouble. But Glenn's cheating behind, feeling away about Letitia wanting him to use a condom is ridiculous. And it shows how unremorseful he is. You literally had a pregnancy scare where all of America thought you fathered another woman's child. Are you stupid? Only God knows what Glenn is out there actually doing. I would even wear a mask around him at all times. That's how gross he is. Glenn is absolutely community penis. There's no debate around it. So Gucci. I feel like a 40, 50-year-old woman referring to herself as So Gucci is odd, especially with such a beautiful government name like Sophia. She claims to be the most requested real estate agent in Mississippi, so we'll see, right? Her and JJ's girls are now bonding and talking more, as opposed to last season when they were beefing and accusing each other of colorism, right? JJ is cooking something for So Gucci naked in an apron in the kitchen, and I could have lived my entire life without ever seeing that. That should have never been seen. Gross. It's not sexy at all, but JJ is supposed to be, comedic, so fine. I like JJ. He was great on the Dancing Dolls. He's just good for TV altogether, right? He's just good for TV. Pardon me, my camera's shifting back there. JJ's fairly unproblematic. He seems to be a great father. He's funny. We love JJ. He did really good, supporting Sanjay on the Dancing Dolls. I thought him and Selena made a great duo as co-parents on the show from the seasons that I did watch. So I'm not mad at JJ, being back on the show. We like him. I think he's TV gold, right? He's not afraid to make a fool of himself, make fun of himself, whatever. So I think it's good. Plus, you can tell he's like naturally silly like that. Like, I'm sure at the family functions and all that stuff when they get together, I'm sure it seems like his personality is always like that. So even if we're laughing at him and not with him, he doesn't seem like that it'll bother him because he's just being himself. And I think most of us appreciate him for that. JJ says he wants more quality time with So Gucci, but he also throws in there that his mom wants to live with him. Absolutely not. Not cool. It's not safe. Not with my attitude. Don't thrust upon me how your mom is moving in. That's a whole conversation. Men don't realize how big of a deal it is to actually have another woman in your home, especially an older woman like a mother in your household, right? Because most women of the house, you know, we micromanage, we handle things a certain way in our household, you know, and I have witnessed where I haven't experienced this myself, but I've witnessed where, you know, the mother comes in, they start to micromanage, they start to handle things as if it's their house, they're critical, you know, and just like our moms don't want anybody in their kitchen, I don't want your mom in my kitchen. I cook in here, right? So I feel like if you want to continue loving your parents, you keep households separate, unless it's an emergency, obviously, you know, unless it's the circumstances warrant that, right? But he hadn't explained it to be an issue with the mom's health or mental or anything. There was no explanation as to what or was there. I don't remember. Tamra is still doing her radio show. Her and Demond are living together. Does Tamra look old in the face? She looks a little stuffed. Or has she always looked like that? I don't know. Tamra wants a small condo or something she can have on her own. So she can have her own space. If there isn't enough space at Demond's house, I can understand that, right? Especially if they aren't married. But also, that's a house they're in. There should be a room for her and her stuff somehow in one of those rooms. Y'all don't have kids. Then Demond wants her to cook breakfast at 4:30 a.m. when she's getting up and getting ready for work. And I'm thinking, not you wanting housewife qualities when Tamra's your girlfriend and works full-time as well. And no, you do not have to be married to cook for your man and all that stuff, clean, do laundry, none of that. But when someone expresses their limitations and what they're willing to do and not willing to do based on y'all's relationship status, you have to respect that. I bet since Tamra and Demond aren't married and don't have children, Tamra can't be a housewife all day. So why should she have to be your every woman while being tired and trying to pursue her goals? What's the incentive? What is the incentive? Some people want a specific kind of commitment before jumping in and being someone's everything. And as successful as Tamra is, I don't blame her. There's no incentive otherwise. So grow up, Demond. Then he diminishes her work because she's sitting in a chair all day. I sit in a chair in front of a computer all day and I come in exhausted. Or if I'm working from home that day, I work longer from home and I am finished exhausted. Not only physically from literally working, but like mentally. Because that screen time is heavy on the eyes and the brain. Like my brain is usually mush by like 6:30. My eyes, I just want to take my glasses off. Like I don't want to do anything. Like I don't want to think, right? I wish somebody would discredit my work and fatigue that I experience from work because I sit down all day. Demond, grow up. Tamra already peeps Demond may be ready for fatherhood, but not so much ready to be a husband. So please protect that womb and that uterus and that vagina and everything. Tamra, don't fall for it. Stick to your guns on this. Don't give him just what he wants. Don't give him no child just because that's what he wants. Get your end of the bargain fulfilled, please. Akeisha is back. I like Akeisha. I did last season as well. Her and her group are invested in Ferris Street. She throws shade at Letitia for not having the coin. It is a dope vision. Akeisha and her group has. I like Akeisha. She has a straightforward, direct demeanor. And she seems just like a cool girlfriend. You know, she seems down to earth. She seems just like, she's low key, but she got the most money out the group. Like, she got some money, but she's just low key. She's down to earth. She's a Southern girl. She seems very grounded to me. That's why she doesn't have to do like the most. Like, look at like well, never mind. There's a big age difference with like a Latrice, but she just seems very grounded, right? And it's just something different about her. She's definitely my favorite on the show, but trust me, that does not mean I will not hold back if I catch her tripping. Akeisha and So Gucci have become good friends now. And it's cool that they've made up and gotten to know each other better and ended up becoming close friends. I think that's really beautiful. So Gucci and Akeisha, so Gucci asks Akeisha about Tamra and their relationship. And Akeisha says she didn't even know Tamra didn't even know the Tambra that was banging on the table and doing the most last season. I believe Akeisha though, because Tambra has been quite secretive and kind of deceptive from day one. Letitia is being shown a house by Soguchi, right? She's considering moving out the house with Glenn. Marie is going to be showing up at the house showing up at the house as well a little later. So they show Marie and the fifth word out of her mouth was her brand name in 3-4 different forms. So now Marie has, I forgot the name of the brand, but she has the mental clinic in that name. She has makeup products in that name, clothing, health practice, hair products. I'm not hating at all because that's amazing. Marie carries her family on her back. She's successful. She's battling health concerns. She does her thing. That's one thought, right? Another thought is, what does Marie what does she have going on over there? Am I the only one with an eyebrow raised or a little side eye? I can't put my finger on it. I'm not sure if Marie is scamming. I'm not going down the road that Treese did, saying all the fraud, all that stuff. I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying a black woman can't achieve all the things that Marie has achieved. I'm not saying that. I'm just genuinely wondering, like, what's going on? It's a lot going on. Like, since when? I don't know. That's just me. It's just a lot going on. Next thing you know, it'll be a recording label and she signed Glenn and his rapping abilities to the whatever the name of the brand is. That's the label name. I don't know. But they say, they do say you need the 7 incomes, 7 streams to be the millionaire. I don't know if that's what Marie is going for. I don't know. It just seems like a lot going on. I can't put my finger on it. Marie's BBL is BBLing, like Latrice said in, I think, episode 2, next episode. She looks great. And I bet she feels great. She looks great. She looks great because I know she feels good about herself. Technically, she looks crazy. Technically. Like our first glance, she looks crazy. The BBL is too much, blah, blah, blah. But considering how Marie feels about herself, and this is what she wanted for her image, I think she looks great, if that makes sense, right? She shows up to Letitia's showing with Soguchi. Soguchi mentions that she showed Latrice commercial properties only for her to sign with another agent. I think the only courtesy owed to Soguchi is Latrice telling her she was looking at options with other agents as well, if that. But if they're not really friends like that, she didn't really owe her anything. If the search process went super long, she might have sent an email basically telling her bye, I guess. But this is business, right? It just is what it is. I think Marie's pixie wig in that first episode was really laid. She asked Letitia if she's still having sex with Glenn. And we already knew the answer to that. She most certainly is. Latrice isn't leaving Glenn. Next. Latrice, did I say Latrice? Letitia isn't leaving Glenn. So next. Latrice is at her shop. And it's smaller than what she was anticipating being in. Josh says he told her to wait or for her to be patient or something because apparently she's now in a smaller place than what she was going for. The deal didn't go through supposedly because of Soguchi. I don't know about that, but I can see how that situation can be murky and messy on both sides. So far from what I've seen, watching all the way to episode 4, I don't trust either one of them. So I don't know. Friend or not, if I'm trying to make a move and your Rolodex doesn't have what I need, I'm going to move forward with what works best for my business. It's really that simple. It's not backstabbing you if I choose someone else. If my best friend does hair, am I indebted to only getting my hair done by her? Am I betraying because I got my braids done by somebody else? Absolutely not. And if my homegirl that does hair tries a style I don't like, I can go pay my money to someone else who does it according to my liking. That's it. This is real business, not a handout business. It's not a handout. It's an even exchange. There's no favors being done here. If you got the deal with Latrice, you'd have gotten your compensation. Latrice is not the only client you have shown a multitude of properties to that did not end up going with your services. So I don't think it should really just be that big of hard feelings. But I can't tell anybody how to feel. Josh was reading Cliff from head to toe. He was spot on. But Josh, leave Cliff's belly alone. I think Cliff could have been handsome at his age if he were kinder. Right? Because I totally get the high yellow Southern men not being everyone's taste. I totally understand that. I grew up around them in Texas and Louisiana. It could give lizard at times. It gives reptile at times, I will say. We immediately move to a scene of Cliff chastising Latrice for being out with her friends, having a drink. I'm thinking Cliff is crazy. A grown woman can't grab a drink with her friend without her husband causing a scene. How embarrassing. He literally looked like her dad, as if she was caught in there underage drinking by her father. And that's pathetic. Even the friend was embarrassed. So when they go outside, Cliff literally asks if her, Josh, and Mandy sit around in M-Bar talking about him. Latrice is slow. She gets in the confessional saying, I love my husband. He's a perfect man, but he could be a bit controlling. Latrice is slow. Cliff is grabbing on her in public. He's calling her a snake. He's calling her a B word. He's pointing in her face, all because she's filming a scene, a public scene, a filmed, televised scene. Ain't nothing secretive going on. In M-Bar with Mandy and Josh. That's how pathetic Cliff is. Latrice is in Get Out. She's in Get Out. She needs to run. I do not believe Latrice is safe. That's my opinion. I said what I said. All right. And that is the end of episode 1. All right. Taking some notes so I can remember where the timestamp is. And we're going to move straight into episode 2, Falling Off a Cliff. We left off with Cliff acting a fool, embarrassing and disrespecting Latrice. It was super sad to even see. Latrice should want more for herself. Cliff is not her actual dad. And it's scary watching how possessive and controlling he is. She thinks it's cute, but she'll learn. And I hope she doesn't learn by the time it's too late. She says she puts up with stuff that the normal person probably wouldn't. But what is she gaining from that? What is gained from taking all this abnormal treatment? That's what I don't understand. These grown adults then are Latrice, Mandy, and Joshy they have to whisper at a loud lounge, a social setting, because Cliff is stalking their conversation. That's pathetic. Let me tell her. Latrice's delusion is giving fake chick, phony facade, keep up for appearances, right? And Marie tried to tell us about that. Look at how she's handling her relationship. That's going to trickle. That's just who you are. Like, I don't care. That trickles down. And we start to see that, right? Like, she's so fickle and weak under her marriage. And it turns out she's like a weak and fickle friend to her friends. Like, why do I have to go out with you and your husband come up in here causing a scene and like, check that. Check him. That's embarrassing. I'm like, he up here causing a scene for all of us. Go handle that. And he up here chaperoning at the next booth like a crazy person. Are you silly? Ew. So Gucci and JJ are chilling and their daughters are visiting. So Gucci's daughter had her baby and one of JJ's daughters is pregnant. So they're bonding over motherhood. JJ is upset that his daughter didn't tell him she was pregnant and had gotten married and everything. He found out on Instagram with everyone else. And there's definitely a reason she didn't tell him. So, and she's an adult. So I have to leave it at that because if we don't know, we don't know. Tambra is hosting a tailgate at her alma mater's homecoming game. The only one who came was So Gucci. The majority of the women didn't even get an invite. Tambra is so eager to introduce this quasi guy. So Gucci is speculating that there is something more to the relationship. I didn't necessarily see that just yet, but I'm not completely writing it off because like I said, Tambra is sneaky. She's deceptive. I do not trust her. Cliff and JJ are hanging out and they're getting into how So Gucci was upset that Latrice didn't use her for the commercial real estate building. And I'm with Cliff. It's business. Latrice had nothing. Latrice had to do what was best for her business. She doesn't have to take something she doesn't want just to appease So Gucci. And I'm not feeling So Gucci trying to make this conflict with Latrice and Selena her storylines for the season. It's really not that deep to continuously talk about during the season. But I will say this, Latrice is super fake. So she probably went about the whole, not using So Gucci, the whole ordeal in a very sneaky way. She probably did, right? Latrice is definitely shown to be disingenuous and very sly. But all in all, just because your friend is a real estate agent doesn't mean you have to buy every property from them. If your friend had a clothing line or could do hair, you wouldn't be obligated to go to them, right? So I don't think, I think So Gucci is reaching for a storyline with this. It's business. Perhaps So Gucci isn't the real estate agent she thought she is. I don't know. Take a shot for every time JJ says, God darn it. Okay. Latrice lives in her own fantasy world and she just blatantly rejects reality. So I'm not going to get worked up about her antics. Latrice told Josh all the things that Cliff said about him. But honestly, Latrice makes it hard to be her friend. Because you go tell Josh all this stuff about your husband. But when he's there for you, when he challenges Cliff's behavior, when he encourages you to move forward on your own, you condemn him and you get upset with him when he's clearly saying what you're thinking as well. You're just scared to say it. Josh is literally Latrice's mouthpiece. He says all the things she'd like to, and that all the things she probably says in private, but she's too scared to say now. So fine, but don't leave him to dry when he's speaking up to Cliff, standing up to Cliff as if he's just out on his ledge by himself. I don't think that's cool. And with Josh being a black gay man, I think, especially with Cliff's demeanor, I think that could get real dangerous, my opinion. Josh, the way he describes Latrice has been a whole different person before she even met Cliff. So I'm sure watching your friend morph into this silent, weak pushover is hard, especially when you know she deserves more and you know she's a boss, and what she's capable of. So Gucci is having a boot camp workout. I'm not listening to So Gucci do this whole Latrice betrayed me thing any longer. Get over it. Get your own storyline outside of these other women. I can't stand a person who has all these issues with multiple people, but their hands are supposedly clean according to them. I'm not falling for that. You not innocent in all your disagreements. The boot camp was a bit dry, honestly, anyway. It looked like something thrown together at a nearby park last minute on a Thursday, and it took place on a Saturday. That's what it gave. Marie pulls up and she looks okay. She looks cool. Her BBL is BBL, and just like Latrice said. But I like that Marie puts effort into how she looks. And I like that. She looks decent for what it's worth because she her procedure, she's clearly happy with it. And she, dresses the part. She's starting to wear tight stuff. She's coming beat. She's coming together. And you can see a difference in her confidence. And that's all that matters. Marie, I understand you don't like Latrice, but exacerbating the situation between So Gucci and Latrice is just unnecessary. Deal with your own issues with Latrice calling you a scammer. Don't try to bring other people into it because it's starting to look foolish. Latrice is messy though, don't get me wrong. And I'm just really starting to really see it this season, especially the way she treats Josh. Like, that's the real her. I'm seeing it. Josh was actually a great addition to the show because it really reveals who Latrice really is, outside of what we see with her and Zaddy. It's JJ's daughter Star's baby shower, and if So Gucci thinks that Selena wants to be her, wants her life or anything else, she's just as delusional as Latrice. Latrice won't talk about what happened after M-Bar, and it's giving battered. And I'm not even making light of it. I'm calling it how I see it. Latrice should leave the show if she wants to live like this. I'm not into seeing abuse on my TV. It's just not what I like. So Gucci criticizes the party Selena threw and how she could do better. So Gucci, if you think it's normal for you and your husband JJ to sit and talk trash about his ex-wife and the mother of his kids, you're sadly mistaken. It's really abnormal and it's weird. Get a new topic to discuss because your storylines are flopping. Selena already did the reality TV thing. So I'm sure if she wanted to take you on, she already know how this goes. Latrice, stop comparing husbands and the love that Zaddy gives you. I guarantee you, I can put every dollar to my name and bet you that no one is standing in line wanting what you have in Cliff unless the woman is just as slow and delusional as you. Cut it out. No one wants lizard looking Cliff but you. I promise you. And that is the end of this review. This is episodes 1 and 2. I'll have 3 and 4 out directly after this. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will chat with y'all in a second. Bye, y'all.